Galimera, Galimera, Galimera. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And a happy birthday to me as well. I can't believe the weather today. Well, I probably can believe the weather today. It was chucking it down. Actually, in fact, we woke up this morning. It was a little bit of sun. Can I say thank you to Amanda for a concise weather forecast? She says, morning, Ginge. Happy birthday as well. Today, it's going to be sunny with showers. It was sunny a bit. Jane was thinking, I think I might put the washing on. But then again, this has happened. It's chucking it down with rain. Not really, really heavy rain that we have been experiencing over the last few days. But anyway, that's the weather today. Little Sandy's at my feet there. He wants to get inside into the warm, and I don't blame him one slightest. So to then, hello, Jack. Jack Harmer looking in at the moment. He says, happy birthday, Ginge. Thank you, Jack. Right, as you're probably aware, in the last 24 hours, things have been going a little bit crazy in the UK. I've got to be honest, just to let you know, just turning the camera around. Jane and I, we are going to be going to the UK on Wednesday, as long as we pass our COVID tests today, because we're going to get our PCR tests before we are allowed to fly and do all the paperwork and everything else that has to be done. So again, we are going to be coming to the UK. I'm looking forward to seeing my mum. I've not seen my mum since October of last year, and then it was only for 3 days on a quick trip out and a quick trip back before things started to ramp up here in Greece. Right, so today's news then. I've got a lot of stuff to tell you within the last 24 hours about what's been going on, not only here in Greece, but also a quick snapshot of what's been going on in the UK as well. Thank you for all those people as well who have been sending me private messages and some very interesting links as well, which I will put up, but I have a feeling once they go up, they may get blocked, but I will put those up as an aside at the end of the broadcast. I'm not going to say too much about it because, again, the authorities that be will probably not want people to hear what is in store for you. All right. Right. So then let's have a quick look at COVID in the last 24 hours. In fact, good news, really, because our infection rate has actually started to decline here in Greece. Yesterday, I said to you that we had 4,761 new cases in Greece within 24 hours. The day before that, we'd had 5,087. Well, today I can report that in the last 24 hours, Greece has had 3,225. So that's a positive. We had 7 new cases identified after checks into the country. That was down on the day before, where we'd had actually 8. Also as well, again, a landmark number of infection. Greece has gone past the 1 million mark now. So at the moment, Greece has had 1,287 cases of cases reported since the pandemic started. So we've gone over the million mark. Also as well, 3 confirmed cases of Omicron in Greece. That is still the number at the moment. There's no number about any more Omicron being detected. So at the moment, Greece has still only had 3 confirmed cases of Omicron. Right, now let's start looking at the islands. As you know, every week I like to tally up the score from the week and then obviously do a comparison with the weeks before that as to our epidemiologies on the Ionian Islands, who are our neighbours and the region that is where Zakynthos is located. Right, at the moment then, cases in Lefkada, they had 7 new cases confirmed yesterday. The day before that, they had 22. So for last week, Lefkada had 98 cases. Now, Lefkada's numbers had actually gone up. They had 33 the week before. The week before that, they had 79. The week before that, they had 54. And the week before that, they had 88. So again, their figures have been up and down. And they are an island that are in the green on the traffic light system in regards to Greece's epidemiology. Now, when it comes to Corfu, Yesterday, I reported Corfu had 54 new infections. Today, I can report they've had 50 new infections. But over the past week, Corfu had 483 infections in total. Now, that number is actually down on the week before, where they'd had 639. The week before that, they'd had 503. The week before that, 655. And the week before that, 567. So again, their epidemiology has been up and down, but at the moment, it's on a downward spiral at the moment. Anyway, as for Kefalonia, our neighbours across the road, they're in yellow at the moment. Yesterday, I reported they had 5 new infections reported on their island. Today, I can report they've had 4. Now, for the past week, they've had 61 infections on Kefalonia. The week before that, they had 84. The week before that, they had 85. The week before that, they had 44. And the week before that, they had 71. So again, Kefalonia's infection rate, that has been on an up and down, but now on a downward approach at the moment. Now, the one island I know you're all waiting to hear is what's the epidemiology been like on Zakynthos. And just again to remind you, we are in amber. After being in red a couple of weeks ago, we got moved into amber. But anyway, this is the situation at the moment. Yesterday, I reported 7 new infections here on the island. Today, I can report there was 4 new infections found within the last 24 hours. Our number for the last week has been 69 new cases on the island, which is down on the week before where we had 86. The week before that, we'd had 118. And the week before that, we had 126. And the week before that, we had 144. So our infection rate has just been going down and down and down and down. So again, let's make sure it stays going that way so that we get out of amber and maybe we will go into green here on the Greek traffic light system. Right, so let's have a look at deaths then in the last 24 hours. Deaths at the moment, do you know what? I actually haven't put the deaths in. I've got the deaths from yesterday, which was at 90. Again, I'm going to have to stop on there on the deaths because I've just realised I haven't put the deaths in. So again, Jane, could you just quickly check the deaths yesterday for Greece? Just on the system with Jane now is just going to quickly check on the deaths for us. Thank you, my lovely. At the moment, I can tell you there's been 19,248 since the pandemic started. 95% of those were people with underlying diseases or were over the ages of 70 or older. And as of now, again, there has been no deaths been linked to Omicron. So there was 90 yesterday. And today?
That was reported last night.
Oh, that was reported. I've obviously put it round. It was 72 the day before that, was it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I did have it in. I put it in the wrong box, all right? It was 90 deaths within the last 24 hours, and that was up on the day before where it was 72. Thank you to Jane, and thank you for all the cards as well. Thank you, my lovely. Let's have a quick look then at the ICUs at the moment. Now, the number of people in ICUs at the moment, that is slightly up. Yesterday, I reported 705 people in ICUs across Greece. That number is up to 708. 424 of those are male. 284 of those are female. The average age of those people is 64 years of age, and 79% of them have underlying health issues or are over the age of 70. So also regarding those critical patients, 570 of them are unvaccinated or partially vaccinated. And again, it's not been made clear here whether having 2 jabs means you're partially vaccinated at the moment and you've got to have 3 jabs to be classed as fully vaccinated. That still has not been cleared up in Greece. But at the moment, 138 of that 570, which is approximately 19%, are fully vaccinated. So that's the scores on the doors, as it were, in regard COVID in the last 24 hours here in Greece. Right now, a quick snapshot of what's going on with COVID COVID in the UK. As you're probably aware, Boris Johnson addressed the UK yesterday after medical officers recommended raising the covert alert state in the UK. Now, the UK's CMOs recommended raising the alert from level 3 to level 4, which is one step below the top level, which is level 5. Now, basically, he's now deploying extra NHS staff and the army, or the forces, shall we say. So I'll guarantee the RAF will be involved in this, as they were on the last booster or the last vaccination campaign. They'll be called upon to help deliver booster jabs to those eligible across the nation. Now, the other thing that's happened as well is Boris now is saying that every adult over 18 has had a second jab at least 3 months ago will be eligible for a booster jab as of today. Anyway, Boris said that every adult in the UK will be able to book a booster before the end of the year. He said bringing this forward to the end of January target by the month because of a tidal wave of Omicron is coming. Again, I just cannot believe that, first of all, the hype that they are pushing on this variant. Again, this variant, they're now saying, although I've been checking this morning, it is causing hospitalizations. I don't know where it's doing that. They are also now, I bet you yesterday, they wet themselves with joy when they started to discover that, yes, some people are being hospitalized with this very mild variant. Maybe they have other diseases, but because they've tested for Omicron, it might not be the Omicron that's the problem, but whatever other ailment they have. And so this was an excuse to ramp things up and to give the impression that things are worse than they are. I've got to quickly also look at Israel as well, because Israelis now cannot travel to Britain, Denmark and Belgium, and that's going to come in on Wednesday. Now, I know we've got Israeli viewers who tune in. Israeli health officials have put the country on the red list to curb the spread of Omicron. Okay, so again, the Israelis are ramping it up. Now, since the Omicron variant was discovered, some 50 countries have been placed on Israel's red list, mostly countries in Africa. At the moment, there's no word whether Greece is on their red list. I wouldn't think it is. We've only had 3 cases discovered here. So again, other nations seem to be following in the same tack of wanting people to vaccinate more. Israel was one of the nations that virtually had 100% vaccination of their entire population, and still this Omicron variant is not stopping. I saw a good remark from somebody saying, listen, we've never stopped malaria. You're not going to stop, certain diseases, certain illnesses. They're going to mutate, they're going to move. And now, basically, the Omicron variant of COVID now is becoming the new cold, and is becoming the new cold. And the vaccine now is the new Lemsip that is being prescribed to be used. Again, I feel that what's going on is not about disease. It's not about health. There's other things behind it. I'm going to put some links into some interviews that's been carried out by a leading professional in disease control, etc. And again, I'll let you watch that and make your decision as to whether this is all what it says it is about, or whether there's other dark forces behind what's going on. Now, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist before anybody says. Also, as well, I'm not against vaccination. If you want to have it, you have it. But at the end of the day, it should be your choice, and you should not be bribed. You should not be threatened. You should not be excluded from society because you feel that you don't need the vaccine. And this is the thing. It's not about the vaccine. It's about giving over control, and COVID passports, when they come in the UK, as they probably will do, are not about health. They're about control, and they're about monitoring your movements and allowing you to take part or be excluded from the rest of society. Sounds very dystopian, sounds very out there, but China has proved it works with their little card that controls their bank accounts, controls their entry into buildings, and controls where their population actually go. Right. Also as well, the figures on Omicron in the UK, the only figures I can find at the moment from the UK, because again, they're not really clear on the figures. Let's say this, they chuck graphs at you and you interpret those graphs the way you want to. But anyway, these are the numbers I have at the moment. Yesterday, I did report to you that there was 1,898 cases confirmed of Omicron in the UK. The day before that, there'd been 1,265, and before that, 817. But at the moment, according to the figures that I've been looking at, it's 3,137 officially confirmed cases of Omicron in the UK at the moment. Now, when it comes to around the rest of the UK, Scotland at the moment, I can still only find 121 confirmed cases, 15 confirmed cases in Wales. And can I just apologise? I was under the impression that Wales was locking down. Your man, Mr. Drakeford, that runs Wales at the moment, maybe that's what he wants to do. But I have heard that restrictions are probably going to come in Wales in the next week or so. So we'll see what Wales is in for. But at the moment, as of when I got this information, thank you for those people from Wales who were saying, Ginge, we're not locked down yet. Maybe you don't realise you've been locked down, but that's by the by. But at the moment, from what I understand, you are still able to move about and there is no lockdown in Wales. However, could that be coming? Let's see what Mr. Drakeford has got in plans for you. Anyway, as for Northern Ireland, they've only had 5 confirmed cases of the Omicron. Don't really hear a lot about what's going on in Ireland at the moment. They've got other worries over there at the moment with the border. But 5 cases at the moment in Northern Ireland. And that's where my mum comes from, by the way, Northern Ireland. Right. And again, they say there's been no deaths from Omicron. However, at the moment, there is a ramp up saying there's been some hospitalizations through the Omicron, but I'm wondering if they're actually directly from the Omicron or if they're people with other diseases, other illnesses who've been admitted to hospital who just happen to test positive. So it's not really the Omicron that's the problem. It's probably the other illness or disease that they have. But again, we are still waiting for confirmation on some of that. All right. Right then, today's Greek news then, just to be aware that the Panhellenic Seamen's Federation, they've obviously got their extension on their strike at the moment. That strike is due to end tonight, okay, at midnight. Once again, they should have ended the strike yesterday, but because of the bad weather where ships couldn't set to sea, they'd lost a day of dispute. So again, they obviously decided we're going to extend it for a day, obviously, to make a point. And again, they are campaigning for increasing wages, also pension rights, also basic things that they feel that they're entitled to, which are at threat at the moment. So again, just to remind you, if you're trying to get off the island with the ferries, there's no ferries tonight until tomorrow. So I'm glad that we're flying to Athens on Wednesday. Anyway, also, again, with what's been going on with the weather, it's really hit Greece quite hard. A search and rescue operation in northern Greece located the body of a missing woman on Sunday. The woman was in a car when it was reported that it had been swept away by torrential water or torrential rains near Kathaniri in Macedonia. Now, according to the information, the woman's body was actually found 1.5 kilometers away from where her car was. So she'd basically been swept out of her car 1.5 kilometers away from where her car had obviously come into a flash flood. Also, as well, interesting thing, news story about the police was released yesterday. It seems about 1,000 Hellenic police officers. Now they're going to be freed up from bureaucratic tasks, and they're going to basically concentrate more on policing duties. Now, this is something that happened in the UK years and years ago, where policemen would bring somebody in after they'd arrested them, and then somebody else would then process them, take interviews, do statements, etc., etc., so that police officer could go back out on the streets again. It looks like the same thing is going to be happening in Greece, where they're revamping the effectiveness of the police. Anyway, it seems the Citizens Protection Minister, Takis Thriadakis, was speaking to the Kathamira on Sunday. He said, while stressing that property crime in the capital, in Athens, has actually dropped by 30% compared to the pre-pandemic era, a decline which has been attributed to the intensified night patrols in the greater Athens area. Anyway, Thriadakis announced that ELAS, that's the what the police are called, rapid response units in Athens and Thessaloniki, will also be reinforced with 210 new police cars. Anyway, it's not so much about the police cars, what you're driving about in, it's the people that are in the cars to do the job. So it's all very well having 210 nice shiny police cars, but it's about people going out and doing the job. Anyway, he said that the reforms were pledged in the wake of the fatal shootout in the Primera district of Piraeus in October, and the process of implementation is going to start to begin. He also added that officers are being trained to deal with raising cases of femicide. And for those people who don't know what femicide is, these are crimes against women, including domestic abuse. There's been quite a lot of murders of women by spouses and partners. In fact, quite a shocking increase of that. And so a femicide is the wording that is used to describe. It's not a homicide, it's a femicide of basically violence against women. And basically, again, some of them have ended up in cases of death, and that's what a femicide is. Anyway, he's also said as well, which is interesting, they are going to be viewing, I think that's a spelling mistake actually, a zero tolerance policy on corruption within the police force. And again, the Greek police at a certain point, when it came to public corruption, the police actually rated as the #1 area of public corruption was within the police force. So obviously they are going ahead and trying to stamp this out. Anyway, another interesting story that came across me yesterday was the sharp rise in prices and the explosive increase in energy costs here in Greece, which is forcing the government here's financial staff to seek additional measures to alleviate the growing pressure on households and businesses. Anyway, more specifically, the government will expand its social assistance package for December and expects a good deal with the Russian Gazprom in reducing gas bills in the first quarter of New Year. Now, we're talking about natural gas and not talking about petrol, all right, just to clear that up. At the same time, the Kathamira understands that the state-controlled gas utility DEPA is in consultation with the Energy Ministry to double the discount on the price of natural gas to 30% in December from 15% in November. Tellingly, last month, the price of natural gas was almost 3 times, that's 180% the amount it was in November of last year. Moreover, with concerns mounting about the effects of high prices on households during the winter, the government submitted an amendment to Parliament on Friday that suspends the charges of gas distribution network from November and December. The bills for these months are higher due to the strong demand for heating fuel. These charges, which make up more than 10% of the total bill, will be repaid in 4 equal interest-free monthly instalments from April to August. Now, the Finance Ministry is considering the possibility of delaying the start of the repayment of the deposit to be returned. You might remember about 700,000 companies across Greece were eligible for this money to keep their business going while we had the restrictions of the pandemic, while people had lost money because of tourism being down, etc., etc. But he also has said, but also to extend the fixed expenses program for 31,000 companies, which allows them to offset taxes and insurance contributions well into 2022 with a special coupon, which they will receive. So again, Greece is no different to the way things are in the UK at the moment, with energy companies going to the wall and then people being forced to take their energy with another company that's been given to them by their governments. We had the same problem here in Greece, but you weren't forced to go with a company. We were given advice that prices with certain private companies would go up by 30%, and you were given the option to move to another company to actually do your power there. And in fact, I've got to be honest, for Jane and I, it actually worked out quite well. We were with the post office, getting our electric from there. We then went to another company. I can't remember the name of that company, but again, it's not much difference that we were already paying. Unlike people in the UK who've gone from a private company that's gone to the wall because they wouldn't be bailed out by the government, the British government there, and found their electricity bill going from £50 a month up to £130 a month, which is a massive increase there. So again, it seems to be everybody across Europe at the moment is experiencing these problems with power. And of course, Mr. Putin is the man who can turn power on and off in Europe at the moment. So again, he's somebody to be watched with interest as to see how he's going to handle what's going on at the moment. And finally, I do have a funny story as an finally story. Jane saw this story and it tickled me. Again, it's COVID related. I'm going to put on a bit of an Australian accent because it's coming from the Daily Mail Australia. That's how far we go to get our news here on the balcony. Anyway, a man received the COVID vaccine 10 times. In one day after he was paid by anti-vaxxers to get jabs, all right? Now, the man who's been identified pretended to be a different person each time he visited a doctor. Now, this actually took place in New Zealand, but it's been reported in Australia. Anyway, he went into 10 different doctors with a different name. He was then given a jab before the vaccination records could be checked or amended or updated. Anyway, authorities believe that anti-vaxxers was paying the man so that he could enjoy the same freedoms as the vaccinated without having to get the jab. Anyway, New Zealanders now obviously must show vaccine passes in order to visit some businesses and attend events in the thing. And I had to laugh at this. A vaccinologist described the decision to get 10 jabs as really dumb. So there you go. It's almost as funny as the Italian with the artificial arm who went to go and get the jab just so that he didn't have to do it with the artificial arm. So again, I'm not sure when they say anti-vaxxers, are they meaning people who are wanting pro-choice as to whether they have the vaccination or not? But anyway, I still think it was a bit of a funny story. Anyway, thank you to all those people that are tuning in at the moment. A lot of people sending me birthday greetings. I've got me cards to open. So I've got all these little bits and bobs here to check. Look at that. I even had one from the UK as well, which was nice as well. It's nice to get a card in the post. Don't get them very often here. But I just want to say a quick hello to Andy Johnson. Wendy Norcliffe says happy birthday. Patsy Ann Dobson, Hayley Chetfield, Alison Wharton says happy birthday, have a fabulous day. Thank you, my darling. Ken Grant says good morning, Ginge, happy birthday and have a great day, mate. Thank you, Ken. Sid James, he also says happy birthday. Thank you, Sid. Catherine Ling as well. Andrew the Fridge Watkins, he's not in lockdown, he's out walking the streets, don't worry about it. Thank you, sir, for your shout out. Barbara Telford, Jack Harmer as well. He says happy birthday, Gunnar. Thank you very much. I saw Gary Horsfield with a long message there. He says happy airborne birthday. Thank you very much, Gary. Also, who else have we got? Oh, Catherine Ling as well up the road. Tony Camporalis, thank you as well. John David Hester, thank you as well. Janet Clooney, thank you as well. Anyway, listen, I'm going to have to. Oh yeah, Christine Coldwell, thank you as well. Thank you for tuning in as well. Right. Oh, and Jan is also tuning in. Right, once again, I'll keep my ear to the ground. around just to let you know that we are definitely at the moment, we're going to be coming to the UK. We decided after people were kind of saying, Ginge, just do it, just go for it. So we've decided that, yeah, sod it, we're going to go for it. The only thing is now we're probably going to go in and fail the test and PCR test, and then a decision is made for us. But anyway, we're going to do it. Again, I'll be talking with Jane about if we're going to do coverage of what's going on from the UK rather than from Greece, obviously, when we go over. Be good to catch up with my brother, also catch up with my mum, and also hopefully my son as well, and basically let's enjoy things while we can before maybe the madness of 2022 kicks in, and then I've got to start making decisions as regards I get vaccinated in the new year when my certificate of health runs out. And then I'm basically technically then classed as unvaccinated. This is the thing that hurts me more than anything else, is the fact that I've had the disease, I got over it. I just don't want to mess with my immune system being given something, even though I know that my immune system has fought it. And I'm still here to tell the story. I know other people have caught it and have passed away, and my condolences to those people. But at the end of the day, I still feel if I've had it, I've got over it, I shouldn't have to have the vaccine. It should be my choice to have it or not. I don't feel like I have a choice, all right, at the end of the day, and that's it. My choice has been taken away, and my choice is I don't want it. If you want it, have it. Great, fantastic. But my choice is I don't want it. And we're going to see how this is all going to play out within the next few weeks as we get closer to 2022. Is it going to end, or is it going to ramp up and get worse? Anyway, I'm going to put a link into this. Thank you to those people who've been sending me little private information. I'm not going to divulge who they are because I know certain people just want to stay quiet on that front. But I'm going to put that link in at the end of this broadcast so that you can watch this and make your own mind up as to where this is all going to lead. Anyway, you have a great day. Thank you once again for the birthday greetings, and I'll keep my ear to the ground. Ta-ra.